I'm Joyce. I'm from Sydney. I'm a working lady with a family. I like all very easy recipe that is foolproof but also very delicious. If you notice, I actually do not share recipes often unless it's a very good recipe. So today I'll be sharing with you the Dutch chocolate chiffon cake recipe that everyone who has tried it totally loves it. And I hope you can replicate the same yummy chocolate chiffon cake recipe for your loved ones. Before you go ahead and start baking, I'd like to share with you my 5 secret tips that help my chocolate chiffon cake to be super successful so that you can also make a premium chocolate chiffon cake for your loved one as well. My tip number 1, I only use Dutch processed cocoa powder. All world-class chocolate dessert maker, they always use Dutch processed cocoa powder for the reason of its rich color, is very much darker in tone than a normal cocoa powder. Secondly, it actually needs less sugar than a normal cocoa powder because not only is rich in flavor, but it actually is not as bitter as a normal cocoa powder. And it's also because a Dutch processed cocoa powder actually dissolves much easily than a normal cocoa powder. So it's very important that you use a Dutch processed cocoa powder if you want to achieve maximum flavor that is unforgettable inside and also in terms of texture. My second tip is when you preheat your oven, preheat your clean, empty cake pan as well. Why I do that? Well, I actually learned this secret tip from a Japanese because if I preheat my empty cake pan together with the oven, when I pour in the batter actually will not leak from the bottom of the cake pan at all. And it also helped my cake to actually rise up beautifully because it is so hot, the cake pan, the batter actually can rise and climb and stick to the wall instead of doing it with a cake pan that is not hot. So I've done it with or without my cake pan preheated. I find that the result I get from a preheated cake pan is absolutely better. And my third secret recipe is always powder your castor sugar. I notice my egg batter tend to foam up much better and beautifully if I blend and powder my castor sugar, at least for a few seconds. And fourth tips is add espresso coffee to your recipe. If you want a world-class chocolate cake, you cannot give up on the flavor of espresso coffee. But if you are allergic to caffeine, you can either use decaffeinated coffee or you can omit coffee all along. But do bear in mind, with or without coffee, it doesn't change the texture, but it does change the flavor dramatically. I find that my cake with espresso coffee is just so much more yummy. It really brings in the world-class flavor into the cake. Another important tip is you must use a chiffon cake pan. You cannot use a non-stick cake pan for this recipe. It just wouldn't work. Your cake will not be able to rise up well and stay fluffy if you use a non-stick cake pan. So remember, you must use either an aluminum pan or preferably a chiffon cake pan. And another tip to stop shrinking, where a lot of people struggle with that, is after you have bake a beautiful cake. As soon as you remove it out of the oven, drop it onto the tabletop twice. This sounds ridiculous, but it entirely stops the shrinking immediately. I have baked chiffon cake many times. For my first 20 times when I baked chiffon cake, I did not do this, and my chiffon cake did actually shrink a little bit, like maybe for 1 cm. But ever since I dropped my chiffon cake onto the tabletop twice, as soon as I bake and take it out of the oven, then only I invert the whole cake pan to be rested on 3 cups, I noticed my chiffon cake did not shrink at all. So if you want your chiffon cake to be maximum fluffy, try this trick. I'm sure you'll be surprised. Please let me know how did your baking go. If you find this video useful, please like it. Thank you.